Hi, my name is Stacie Stewart, and you're building with Stacie. Today I have a special guest by the name of Sam Ruben. She is an active realtor, has been for several years, as well as a female builder. She's been building for quite some time, and I want to say that I've known Sam for how long now, Sam?
It's almost 10 years now.
10 years. And can you tell us, can you tell the audience a little bit about how we met and why we met?
So we were introduced to each other because I had bought my first piece of property and I was like, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know who builds. A good friend of ours, Portia, introduced us to each other. We met at the land and she was like, this is what you can do, and all this good stuff. And we've just been friends since then.
Mm-hmm. And basically at the time I was busy with several projects of my own, and I just kept saying, Sam, you can do this yourself. Sam, you can do this yourself. You don't need me to do it. You could be your own builder. Mm-hmm. And I think she actually did it. Matter of fact, not think, she actually did it. And she's a full-time mom. She has 3 kids. She's also a vet, right?
Yes.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
So she's really busy doing real estate as well as building. And tell us a little bit about how many projects you have and how long you've been doing it, and how she just jumped into it and just became very successful, like literally I would say overnight.
Yeah, so I've been a realtor for the past 9 years, been building for the past 3 to 5, and we started in rehabs. We started out doing rehabs, and then we switched over to the new construction. We did a couple of additions, and then new construction became something that I desired more. So yes, for like the last 5 years, we've been working on new construction projects. I have 8 townhomes in Grand Prairie that we're gonna be working on sometime this year. And then we have a duplex we're gonna be building in Terrell, and then single family projects throughout the Metroplex.
And when you started, we met, I think, in Seagoville, right?
Yes.
You had 2 lots in Seagoville, mm-hmm. and they were single family housing at the time. So how long, that was maybe about 10 years ago, mm-hmm. right? And how long after you and I met before you actually started to think about doing it on your own?
Probably it took me a couple years. It took me a couple years only because when we met, you know how you have that scare factor. Like I take risks. However, you always want to make sure you got the checks and balances in place. So when we spoke and you was like, you can do it yourself, I was definitely okay with doing it myself, but then just talking back and forth with you, making sure we got our dotted our I's, crossed our T's. So it took about 2 years before I actually put my foot into that project. Yeah.
Now, when you started your first project, you actually did single family. You did 2 new construction projects. And tell the audience like your experience. How did it start? Like basically, how was your experience? So if someone was to say, okay, I've never done this before and I want to get into it, can you tell them like your experience when you first started? Were you like nervous? Were you confident that you could do this because you already have a real estate background? Or what was your experience like?
So my experience was, I was nervous, definitely nervous, because I hadn't done an actual build from the ground up. We had done rehabs, we had done additions, but to build a complete property from the ground up, we hadn't done that yet. So I was definitely scared, nervous. I had people saying, you don't know how to build a house, you ain't never built this, you won't, right? So you had that negativity, but you also had the positivity coming from someone like Stacie, who stayed in your background and was like, girl, you better get to building that house. And so, taking her advice, going back and forth with her with different contractors, getting the right people on your team, the project became really, really simple during the process. You do have your hiccups from there and there, with the city. They can be more of a problem, headache than anything else. But overall, the project was successful and we, completed in a timely manner.
Now, on your first project, how long did it take you from like beginning to end, like from when you started building it to when you finished it and then when you sold it?
So first project beginning to end was about, so to build it, it was 4 months. Mm-hmm. But then the city got involved and we had some issues with them, so it took an additional 2 months, and then we probably sold it about a month later. But probably about 7 months in total.
Mm-hmm. But you had some delays.
Yes, yeah. Okay. Encore was a delay, the city was a delay. So the house is built, I just couldn't move because we had the city problems.
Mm-hmm. And that happens in real estate. I mean, construction, sometimes you can have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, and then you might get into a situation where, you know, Encore needs to get involved for power lines, and if you can't get the power line or the final power, you can't move your tenants into the house after the house is finished. So there's a lot of moving parts to this business. And did it discourage you at all?
No, it didn't. I was like, it's part of the process. It's a game that we got to play, and I played it. So yeah.
And you've been doing it ever since.
Yes, doing it ever since.
So after you started your single family projects, the two that you did with myself, which you ended up doing it on your own, thereafter, soon after, how many other projects did you start, like right soon after?
I started buying land up like crazy.
Oh, so you got addicted. You got addicted.
Yeah, we got addicted. I tell people all the time, real estate is addicting. Like once you jump into it, it's like, and it's a successful project.
Yes.
It's like you want to keep them going. So we started buying up land left and right. Yeah.
And what are the pros and cons now that you've dibbled and dabbled? Because you've done real estate for so many years, and then you also did some fix and flips, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now that you've actually started new construction from the ground up, what would you say some of the pros and cons are that you experienced?
Okay, so the pros is just the experience in itself, being able to learn something that no one in my family has ever done. I'm the first that I know of, that I'm pretty sure I am, the first builder within my generation of my family. And just learning that skill that no one can take away from you is a blessing. So that's a major pro. And then the cons is you just don't know. During one of our build jobs, COVID happened, and we went from a $25,000 lumber package to a now $55,000 lumber package. And we didn't account for that because we didn't know what was gonna happen.
Yep.
So that's some of the cons is your numbers may change during the build out because of things that are out of your control, but you just gotta keep the project going. You gotta know what your exit strategies are, and then as long as you know everything that you need to do in the event something bad happens, you should be good. But overall, I think on the new construction side, I have more pros than cons. Then on the rehab side, we can talk about that another day.
Yes, absolutely.